Renegade Bass Radio on TSN 1200. Powered by BRP Evinrude, Ranger Boats, and Orleans Boat World.
And I thank the Lord above every time I can. I get to be a fisherman. Yeah, I'm a fisherman.
A bunch of listener email as of late have told me that boys and girls have been very good this winter because a bunch of them are sporting brand new boats. Well, if you got a new boat, then you need boat insurance. Joining me this morning is our Marine Specialist Heather Bonadie from Rhodes and Williams Insurance. Thank you so much for taking time, Heather.
Thank you for having me again, Paul.
Well, listen, it's always a treat speaking with you because I always feel that I'm a little bit smarter having spoken with you. When we spoke the last time, we were talking about the ins and outs of insurance, and you guys were just in the process of building your own dedicated program. Tell me a little bit about how that's gone.
Well, over the past 2 years, Rhodes and Williams has been working on developing a program with Lloyd's of London. Lloyd's of London being one of the oldest insurance companies in the world, wanted to get into the boat insurance business in Ontario. That gave us the ability to basically tailor our own policy, take the best parts of all the different companies we deal with and create our own wordings, our own coverages, and make sure that we have a policy that will be right for all the boaters out there.
I know when we've spoken candidly in the past, you always kind of, gave your head a bit of a shake, wondering what some people were thinking when they crafted the wording on some of the policies. It almost seemed as if they've never even been in a boat, let alone owned one. Give us examples of how you changed the wording to make sure that it's appropriate for your clientele.
We see all kinds of things that happen with boat policies. There's different areas. The basis of coverage is a huge thing. When you tack your boat onto your home policy, for example, that's a company that doesn't do boat insurance. It's not their specialty. So they're putting out a product that just sort of gets by. We look at personal effects coverage in the boat. We want to make sure that if you do have a claim, you can claim it directly under your boat policy, so all your fishing gear, you don't have to go to your home insurance. We want to make sure there's loss of use coverage. We want to make sure the navigational limits are the right limits for you as a boater, that, if you decide to go to a different lake or go down south, we need to make sure that the insurance is going to follow you wherever you are.
I guess also there's some situations, given the fact that this is Renegade Bass Radio and we do participate in the odd tournament, there's some boat policies even there that kind of restrict tournament fishing.
For sure. They have restrictions on what they call professional or tournament fishing. Anything where there might be some money involved could be a restriction on a policy, especially if it's tacked onto your home policy. Renegade Bass, I've said this time and time again, I have a soft spot for the bass fishing community. I know that that's what you guys do. Like, you go out, you fish, maybe you win some money, maybe you don't.
Maybe you don't.
But we make sure that we have a policy that's going to allow you to do that, and if something happens on the water when you happen to be out, that you're going to have the proper coverage.
Excellent. You touched on something that's really important. I know we've mentioned it on the radio before, but it's one of those things that you need to keep repeating because there are a bunch of people that are unfamiliar with it. Using your homeowner's insurance policy, which a lot of people just tend to default because it's probably easy, call up their broker, I bought a boat, blah, 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 blah. Number one, they run into big problems on their claims. But the biggest thing is that if they ever have to make a claim, it could really hurt them in the old pocketbook.
It definitely can. Number one is the basis of settlement, so how much they're actually going to get to either replace their boat or to repair their boat can definitely be influenced by the type of policy, and generally the coverage under the home policy isn't nearly as good as a marine policy. The other thing is if you have a claim, are you going to lose your claims-free discount on your house insurance? Is it going to impact your ability to get house insurance on renewal because now you've put in a claim? That could be one of the biggest factors out there.
Now, how significant can a claims-free discount be?
Well, I deal with a number of companies. It can range anywhere from 5% to 20%, depending on the company and how long you've maintained your claims-free status. So if you've never put in a claim and then all of a sudden and you've had a 10-year or 15-year claims-free status, and then you do put in a claim, it can be a pretty large increase in your premium.
Yeah, I'm just doing some quick math in my head here, and I mean, it's almost the cost of a boat policy. That's how big a discount it could be. Several $100s, if you've got, a home and a few other things attached to your claims-free discount. If you lose it because, you hit a lower unit or whatever else you need to make a claim, then of course that could be very costly.
Well, and you know what? It would be horrible to have to pay the extra premium. My biggest fear is the person that can't get the insurance. For whatever reason, that was their second claim in 5 years. They had ice damming, they had sewer backup in their basement that they had to claim. They claimed the boat, and now they can't get home insurance at all.
Oh, I see. Exactly. One of the things that I've always been so comfortable doing is referring people specifically to you, because you've been doing this for a long time, and I know you guys are huge specialists at it. You know the ins and outs. Whenever I send someone, they're always so pleased because they're amazed at the questions that you ask them. You're asking questions and details so that you're able to make sure that you got them the perfect policy. I know in my situation, for example, what was the best product for me may be different than the best product for Mike Vandenberg, our president, or might be different than Steve Barnett, one of our other members. You guys have several different policies. What are some of the things that you ask to ensure that you help direct them to the best product?
Navigational limits are a big thing. Are you going to be fishing south of the 40th parallel? Like, do you go to Virginia? Do you go to Florida? How much personal effects coverage do you need? Another big question is, people don't realize this, but under your vessel and your motor, which is sort of the main number, the amount that you insure it for, with most companies, that's where you need to include all your talons, your navigational equipment, all those fish finders and GPS that you guys love to put on board. You need to make sure that you have enough coverage under that vessel to cover all those items. It wasn't just how much did you pay for the boat itself. If you have a loss, I'm sure you're going to want all those things replaced. And normally, if they're navigational, they're not considered personal effects.
Excellent. Yeah, I just helped another customer purchase a boat, in the last few weeks, and they tacked on easily $10,000 between a couple of power poles and some big Lowrance screens. So it certainly adds up. It's almost 1/4 the price of the boat.
Yeah, and people will just send a copy of their bill of sale to their broker and say, this is how much I paid for my boat, and that's what it gets insured for. And they don't take into account all these items that increase the value quite quickly.
Excellent. Well, listen, folks, we're speaking with Heather Bonadie, who is the absolute number one person as far as marine insurance is concerned. If you have any questions, and like anything else, it's absolutely free. Before we start off into a season, you want to make sure that your baby is well protected, that you got the right coverage, and you're saving the most amount of money. Go to renegadebass.com, click on the Rhodes and Williams link, and of course, you can also get renegadebassinsurance.com, if I'm not mistaken, Heather?
Yes, yeah, we have a site set up for just dedicated for Renegade Bass members as well.
There you go. Listen, Heather, thank you so very much for taking the time, as always.
Thank you for having me again, and please tell your listeners, feel free to call me anytime, any questions, whether you're my client or not. I'd love to help you.
There you have it, folks. Stick around. In the next segment, we'll be talking about a nice little toy that you want to add to your boat, the XI5 from Motor Guide. I'm Paul Shabbat. This is Renegade Bass Radio right here on TSN 1200.